solving one-step equations using multiplication and division. Just like addition and subtraction, there's also a multiplication property of equality that becomes very useful when solving equations. The multiplication property of equality states that for any numbers a, b, and c, if we are saying that a equals b, then that automatically means that a times c equals b times c. In other words, just like addition and subtraction, you can change an equation using multiplication as long as you multiply the same thing to both sides. This rule also works for division. So now we know that when solving equations, or really doing anything with equations, we can make any change to an equation as long as we do the exact same thing to both sides. Solving equations in this way also becomes a very useful tool for everyday life. Say, for example, you are interested in getting a subscription to Sirius Satellite Radio. A 12-month subscription costs $240. So how much does it cost per month? Using algebra, you can picture this statement as 12 months equaling 240. We can figure out the answer to our question by solving this equation. What's on the same side as the variable? In this case, 12. What is the 12 doing to the variable? In this case, 12 is multiplying. Multiplication is the only operation that you do not need to have a operation sign in between the number and the variable. So if you ever see just a number next to a variable, assume that the operation between them is multiplication. Since 12 is multiplying m, we do the opposite and divide. Dividing 12 by 12 cancels out the 12, leaving just m. 240 divided by 12 equals 20. So, the price per month was $20. Here's another example. First, what's on the same side as x? In this case, 3 is on the same side of the equation as x. What is 3 doing to x? This is a division bar symbol. So, to get rid of the 3, we do the opposite. Multiply both sides by 3, and x is equal to 15. Working with fractions can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Look at this example. 2/5 x equals 3. If we want to get x by itself, we are going to need to get rid of 2/5. There's a couple of ways you could think about this. The first way is to think of the 2 and the 5 separately. The 2 would be multiplying x, the 5 dividing it. So if we want to solve for x, we need to do the opposite. To do the opposite, that means we would need to multiply by 5 and divide by 2 to both sides. 3 times 5 over 2 is equal to 15 halves. Notice that the 2's would cancel out, the 5's would cancel out, leaving only an x. A quicker way of thinking of this is that if you are trying to get rid of a whole fraction, flip the guy and multiply. If you multiply by the reciprocal, or the flipped fraction, you will automatically cancel out. So remember, when getting rid of a fraction, flip the guy and multiply. Here are some more examples for you to try. Take your solutions to your teacher to check them. Be very careful. For many of these, you're going to need to remember your rules about multiplying and dividing with negative numbers. And don't forget, whenever you're stuck with an equation, ask yourself, what's on the same side as the variable? What is it doing to the variable? Do the opposite.